Welcome to Beauty and the Biz. Discover how to grow your practice with effective cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, and retention advice from author, speaker, trainer, and cosmetic practice business and marketing coach, Catherine Maley, MBA.
Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of the cosmetic practice. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, as well as consultant to cosmetic practices to get them more patients and more profits. So today's episode is called The 3 M's of Smart Marketing for Plastic Surgeons. And this one came about because I just got back from speaking to the surgeons in San Diego. And since I've been at this for a really long time, the topic used to be, I need more leads. I need a lot more leads. And actually what you need are patients, but I need a lot more leads. And now the discussion is, okay, how do you convert these darn leads? Because it's gotten so wacky out there that, converting is an art in itself. So getting the lead is one thing. Getting them to say yes and giving you money is quite another. So I thought I would give you tips and tricks for marketing. Okay, so the 3 M's of smart marketing for plastic surgeons. Here we go. You're going to discover how you spend less but get better results. Because we all know the challenges are horrendous. The absurd amount of information and competition is really confusing the patient. And not just that, all of these different marketing channels have opened up. So now the patients have to somehow find your website. So you have to have a great website. You've got to have SEO to make sure or help people find your website. But they keep saying SEO is dead because they want to get you the audience that found you organically. And you're not an authority because you're not ASPS or ASAPS or AACS. You're not those, and those are the authority sites. So that's already a challenge. So, I could go down the list. I was typing up all the various marketing channels I could think of, and I came up with 2 columns in a matter of minutes. So I'll just do it quickly. Articles, blog, directories, doctor referrals, alliances, fundraisers, billboards, print ads, social media, and I mean social media, all of those, now TikTok's popular with the little kids, and it'll be the next Instagram down the road, so you have to figure that out. Also Facebook ads, press releases, Real Self, link building, YouTube, practice newsletter, TV ads, radio ads, cable ads, or PR if you can get it, public speaking, retargeting with banner ads, direct mail, email, patient events, and I'm sure there are a whole bunch more. But because of that, we're all deluged with marketing messages all day. So the cosmetic patient has too much noise going on in their heads. They can't even focus for a few minutes on your message so they have enough time to get to know you enough to actually connect with you. And then, of course, there's too many technology choices. Before, we didn't even talk about non-surgical procedures or treatments at a medical surgical conference. We always just talked about surgery and a little bit about marketing and a little bit about business. But now these conferences are full of non-surgical marketing and business because you've got to get good at all of this. As if it wasn't enough to be a surgeon, now you have to get good at being a marketer, being an injector, buying all the lasers and all of that. And then now we've got the generational differences as well, because, before this was definitely for the older, more mature patient who had not only the need, but they also had the financial wherewithal. But now we've got generations, we've got patients in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s. So you're trying to figure out how do I do this? Like, what do I do to get new patients? So here's what most surgeons do. They're very much an all or nothing is how I have found that to work out. They will get very serious about marketing. Let's say they come back from the conference. They'll get very serious. They'll throw a ton of money at whatever, the internet, radio, television, PR, all of those things. They'll use them or they'll spend the money about 2 months or 3 months because it's expensive. And then they'll say, oh, forget it, this was too expensive. And then they decide to do nothing. So that kind of all or nothing mentality is going to hurt you. because that's not how, there's a different approach here. This is my absolutely favorite saying. The key to success is not doing more. It's doing more of what works. I live by this because I'm a big doer. And I used to do just because it made me feel better to be busy. But was that really profitable? Well, here's how you find out. You follow your successes first. And what I mean by that is you look at your data and you determine who has given you money, because they'll give you a lot more if you go back to them. So for example, you should be able to pull a report called Breakdown Revenues by Procedures. If you can't, you need a CRM software program that allows you to have this kind of report, because it's vital to your planning and your growth for your practice. So when you break it down by procedure, that's a clue of how you're seen by the public. So for example, if you think you're the breast dog guy, let's say, because those are the easy ones, we all know that. So the breast dog would be great. But it turns out you get a lot more revenue from your abdominoplasties. Well, that's really good intel. So maybe you say, although I spend all my money on breast dog advertising, they seem to like tummy tucks, so maybe I'll go there, is the point. Now, if you're not sure about that or you can't pull a report, at least go to your surgery calendar or your schedule and just have your staff note the last 40 to 100 surgeries you did. And that will determine, okay, who was on this surgical table? How old were they? Male, female? What zip code did they live in? And what did they have done? And what was the P&L on that? Another really good report to pull to help you spend less and get better results is break down your revenues by referral source. Now, what happens is these kind of numbers become very anecdotal. You think you know what they are, or your staff thinks they know what it is. And so you anecdotally, with emotion, make these numbers up. You're much better off taking the emotion out of it and actually letting the numbers tell you what really is happening in your practice. So for the referral source, a lot of you will say, I got everything from the internet. Well, if you break it down, you'll find out that's true, but they first heard about you through word of mouth from a girlfriend, oftentimes. So be careful with that, to just assume they came from the internet. Quite often, it's very difficult for them to just find your website willy-nilly in today's crazy Google search world. So they oftentimes have come from, maybe it was your magazines or something, or maybe it was your neighboring salon or spa that you don't even know is a big fan of yours. Or, quite frankly, most of them should be coming from word of mouth or even other doctor referrals. You just don't know unless you ask and you document it so you can have reports that pull it out for you. So the point is, once you know those things, now you budget proportionately to your successes and you drop any other advertising you're doing that you think is working or you wish it was working, but it's not. I'll tell you, I just was somewhere, and I can't say where, but they were throwing a ton of money at the local TV station. And I get that because it's mass advertising and an awful lot of people see it. And I'm all for it as long as it shows up in the numbers, the revenues that they came from TV. But sure enough, it turns out hardly any came from TV, and those that did never converted. Just because in this particular geography and this particular surgeon in this practice, TV was not where it was at. It was word of mouth and it was also internet, but he never would have known that had I not pushed for the numbers. So numbers are really important. So here are the 3 M's of smart marketing. This is, I did go to school for business and for marketing, and we're taught early on, the whole thing about marketing is your market plus your message plus your media equals your success or your failure. So now we'll take those 3. We're going to start with the market. And when I consult, I always ask the doctor, who is your preferred patient? If you could have the perfect patient walk through your door, who would they be? What happens is it's difficult to answer that because they oftentimes have a vision of actually they have forgotten who their vision is because you're just scrambling trying to get patients. So you haven't maybe even thought about this, but it really is time to take a breath, sit back and say, you know what, who do we want for a patient? whether it be a patient or maybe it's a particular procedure that you like. Because if you do like breast dog and that's what you want to do all day, well then who are the breast dog patients? Then we all know it's the younger, usually, and I'm generalizing always, usually it is the girl in her early 20s who just wants boobs, Or it's a tummy tuck. If you really like tummy tucks, then at least you know she's older. She goes up the food chain a bit, which I love because now they're not in their 20s. Now they are older. They have the financial wherewithal. They have more sense about them. They will care more about who you are and your skill and expertise. Or maybe you live off of eyes. I know a surgeon who, for lots of reasons, he had to keep an easy schedule, so he couldn't leave his house early in the morning or late at night to handle hematomas and all of that. So he decided to just stick to an easy bleph in his office under local, and he made a nice living doing that, but he knew that that's what he wanted to do for his own personal reasons. So the beauty of that is, well, now we know who to go after, because you don't go after the 20-year-olds, you go after the 40 plus people, because that's the first sign of aging. So do you see how much easier it is once you pick your body parts? Then that will help you define your market. So the whole point of this is extreme targeting. Instead of going after everybody, which I hear all the time, I just want everybody. Well, you're not going to get everybody in this mass advertising, complicated, complex world. You're going to have, there's a saying, the riches are in the niches. So true. Think about this. A long time ago, 19 years ago, I decided that my niche, or niche, however you say it, I'm from Chicago, so we say niche. My niche was plastic surgeons. If I had said to you, I'm a specialist in plastic surgery and dentistry and orthopedics and pediatric surgery and go on and on and on, I wouldn't have made any impact, because then I'm not a specialist anymore. Do you see what I mean? People, human beings, we want to go to somebody who really knows their stuff and who's an expert at certain things. So keep that in mind when you're doing mass advertising or you're putting yourself out there. It's really best to pick something that they can get to know you for, and then they'll stay for more as they get to know you more. So extreme targeting. And that means by age, gender, ethnicity, zip code, income, interests. Now, this is also going to help you save money, because now you're going to choose media, and then you're going to go further and pick the hours that you run your ads, because you have a better feeling for who are these people. Are these people who are out partying all night, or are they people who are early risers kind of thing? You want to know that when you're running ads, because there's nothing cheap nowadays about internet advertising. Now, this next step, it's kind of a stool with the 3 legs. The first leg was market. So you're going to choose who's your market or who's your procedure, which procedure do you like? And then what's the message for that market? So for example, if you did want to go after, let's say, mommy makeovers, now what's your message going to be? Well, it's going to be things like, want your pre-baby sexy back? Or mommy makeover equals firmer breasts and flatter tummy? Or will a mommy makeover give you back your pre-baby figure? So do you see how that kind of message really will resonate with a mom who she's had a couple kids, she's losing her figure, she used to be real sexy, she used to get the, you know how much you hate being whistled at by the construction workers? Well, you hate it even more when they stop. That's the irony of that. Trust me, I know. So anyway, then let's go on to, let's say, facial rejuvenation. Now you've got a facelift patient. She's been looking in the mirror for years. And so her message is tired of looking old and tired, or how to turn back the clock and look younger, or go for it. Want to look younger? Yes, she does. So do you see how important the message is to that market? Or let's say you're doing rhinoplasty. And that's another issue, because you're going to call it rhinoplasty and your patients are going to call it nose job, unless they're sophisticated and now they know what rhino is. In today's world, I think you have to be really drop dead, easy, simple. So I would actually be using the word nose and rhino together if you have to, but definitely nose job. So their kind of message would be, hate your nose, question mark, or something like, get the nose you want, not the one you have. And boy, the younger patients are all about photos, before and after photos. And those are fantastic. But what's even better are celebrity photos of those who had a rhinoplasty. The younger generation is so influenced by the media and celebrity status. And, celebrities, just to give you a tip here, it doesn't have to be Beyonce. It can be a celebrity in your own neighborhood, which is even better, and somehow an influencer in your area. So they have a nice following on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, and they have a nose job done by you and they document their experience with you and videotape it. Wow, that's just golden if you can get that. So the last leg of the stool is, which media are you going to use? And you know what? This isn't that complicated. It is right now because you haven't done it this way before. But when you're a marketer, you just sit down and you literally say these three things. Who's my market? What's my message to that market? And then where do they go for information? Which medium am I going to use to get to them? So, for example, if you decide you do want to go after breast dog, well, we know that it's the younger patients, so they're all about mobile. So you want to make sure you're mobile friendly on your website. Then you want to use mobile marketing, and now there's geo-targeting. I mean, God, they're watching us like hawks nowadays. Our cell phone's telling them everywhere we are. So if you just happen to have gone somewhere, the geo-targeting knows that, and they can retarget you to talk about a breast dog. You also want to use things like Instagram and TikTok for the breast dog patient. But then if you want to go up the food chain and go to the mommy makeover or the tummy tuck group, they are more mature, so they'll be on Facebook ads. You know what's really funny? Everybody talks about all these different social media sites, but do you know the one hands down, I mean hands down, wins when it comes time to advertise? Facebook is still your best bet for advertising because Instagram's still just a fun thing to look at pictures, and Facebook, there's a lot more content and people are willing to stay put a little longer, and you can set up a back-end funnel easier. Anyway, so you would also do PPC, otherwise known as Google AdWords. You can be special guests on mommy blogs because they like a lot of content. So that would be the media choices you're going to use there. Now, if you wanted facelift patients, you could still use the TV and face-to-face events because the older, more mature patient really likes relationships and trust. And I would definitely count on word of mouth in this case. I would almost do direct mail. Not almost, I really would do direct mail because you don't need them flying in from all over. I know that's a good ego trip to have them flying in from South Africa, but quite frankly, the bread and butter will always be in around your area. So why not start there and see how it goes? But they're all about trust and credibility. So they need a lot of content, a lot of social proof, and a lot of interaction. And then let's just throw in hair grafting because a lot of you somehow decided that hair grafting was a good hobby to have in your practice that used to be, all females, and now you've got men in there needing hair. It's not my favorite way to go because now you have to open up a whole new market, a whole new budget to advertise to men because they're not going to be where the women are. They're going to be on the internet for sure, but of course, you want to go to like the sports and the business section. So you want to have ads there. Pay per click is a good place, but it's very expensive. And frankly, you have to go after mass advertising because bald-headed men don't just hang around together. And men in general don't refer and chit chat like women do. So it's going to be a lot more throwing it out there, throw out a big net and just see if you can find the needles in the haystack, the men who actually are bald and care about it. So they want to do something about it. But no matter what you do for marketing, just make sure you have a really killer system set up. Nobody wants to be advertised to anymore or marketed to. So you have to keep it kind of fun, interesting, informative, funny, entertaining. But when they click, they have got to go to a killer page. And this could be a web page. It could be a separate landing page from your website, because you don't want them moving around. You want them to stay put on this page. And whatever you talked about, let's say you talked about mommy makeovers, when they go to this page, there better be tons of before and after photos of mommy makeovers, and especially from different ethnicities or gender or ages, because the cosmetic patient needs to see themselves in these photos. You better have testimonials. Video testimonials are way better from other patients who had mommy makeovers who could not be happier. You have to have really great reviews saying, this is the pain I was in. I hated my body. My husband was suffering from that because if a woman's not confident with her body, there's not going to be a whole lot of action going on in the bedroom, that kind of thing. So the other women need to hear other women's stories, and that's what gets them to stop procrastinating and do something about their own problem. But you also I would put videos on there. I would put a welcome video on there from you discussing a mommy makeover. Even though you think everybody already understands, like we're deluged with content, they never heard about a mommy makeover from you. And that makes all the difference. So here's the crucial part. You have to have a call to action. You can't just say, schedule your consult. That's too abrupt, I think. There's too much resistance there because it's a yes or a no kind of thing. Instead, I would have, let's say, a gift card for a discounted consult fee, because I wouldn't go free consult because, you have a problem with the no-shows, but I would have a special gift card for a special price for a consult, or you offer a free gift at consult, or offer them a free report, 5 things you must know about a mommy makeover before you have one, or some kind of a checklist. Are you a good candidate for a mommy makeover? Or you'll give them an initial quote that you can email or text them. The whole point is, we call it lead magnets in marketing, and I've done it forever to build my own list. You'll see I'm constantly giving you free things as long as you give me your name, your email, or your cell so I can stay in touch and nurture. Well, you want to do the same thing. Any patient who's mildly interested will be a lot more interested and a much better quality lead when they give you their name, their email, and their cell. So now you can stay in touch and nurture those leads. So the whole point of this podcast is extreme target marketing, because you want to be so much more strategic with the market you choose, the message they want to hear, and then the media they use to get their information. And that's how you're going to spend a lot less and get much better results when you're this focused. So if you need help with this, of course, let me know. We can look at your cosmetic patient attraction plan to make sure it's working for you. So you can get a hold of me by DMing me on Instagram, or you can send me a message on my website at catherinemaley.com. I hope that was useful to you. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Beauty and the Biz and share me with your colleagues and your staff. And of course, I look forward to all your comments, questions, feedback, suggestions for future topics. I have to do this every week, so I'm always open for more topics. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Catherine Maley MBA. Okay, that's it for this time. Talk to you later.
We hope you found valuable insight on this episode of Beauty and the Biz. For more episodes, tools, and Catherine's free book, visit www.catherinemaley.com. That's www.catherinemaley.com. And be sure to subscribe to get the latest practice building strategies delivered to you. And don't forget to share this Beauty and the Biz podcast with your staff and colleagues.